start trying to find your seats, we've got some very exciting speakers that I'd like to go ahead and introduce. So joining us first is Chairman Tim Walberg. Mr. Walberg joins us from the great state of Michigan. And we recently at CRESS had the opportunity to work with him on a great piece about the future of nuclear energy and some really exciting things that are going on in the state of Michigan. So with that, I'd like to introduce Chairman Walberg.
A chairman of a stodgy old education workforce committee doesn't get that type of rock going oftentimes. It's good to be back with you in this space, now not being on Energy and Commerce and not always being with my hero, John Curtis, who went to the dark side, has left me a little bit wanting for talking about these issues. But we do so often talk in the concept of workforce and preparing workforce to do things like you're talking about. And just talking with Holtec and understanding what that's doing just north of my district and what will take place with putting back in operation a nuclear plant and then starting probably two of the earliest SMRs as well there. It's exciting. I want to give special thank you to the folks at CRESS. Heather Reams and the entire team have been fantastic. They've championed the conservative cause and the common sense cause, I think I'd even more so say, in this arena. I first got involved with the Conservative Climate Caucus, which scared a lot of my constituents back in Michigan, who supported me as being a conservative, but for some reason couldn't put climate with conservative. And it gave me an opportunity to talk about the reality that if I am a conservative, I certainly want to involve myself in grand stewardship of the resources that we have, including the ability to use those resources. And so John Curtis gave me purchase power in that arena to talk about it, from the impact that it could have on my district and upon this country, and in fact upon the world. Free market approaches to the problems that we have in energy are really in front of innovation, and that's what it's going to take and what it has taken already in finding means by which we can do all that we want to do, intend to do, and assist others in doing, but do it in a responsible way. Now I have the privilege, as I've said, of serving as co-chair of the caucus, and I've enjoyed the opportunity to engage continually with this issue, but then kind of rolled into my operations in the Education Workforce Committee, in designing workforce and training opportunities, but also serving on Natural Resources Committee as well, looking at common sense, up-to-date real-world permitting and regulatory reform that can help us move forward. It's a critical time in our nation. So much is changing on the landscape. AI, I remember at COP, was it 26, where I was at, and during the course of the panel that these strange Americans were sitting in, and everybody in the world was crowding outside and inside to hear what in the world these people would be saying. As we talked about regulatory reform, and I broached the idea that with AI, there should not be excuses like we've had of the time that it takes to permit. That we know what's been done with AI, we can go to the best practices, we can understand what it takes, and we can move up the permitting process and ultimately reduce costs that really don't push us ahead in the technology and the space that we have. And so we want to keep pushing that area. The data centers that all of our states are fighting for, and Michigan has been doing the same, but it's been frustrating the fact that in Michigan, one of the key reasons why we don't have all of the data centers that we'd like to see developed is energy issues. And I think it's come from good motives, but wrong-headed principles about what will provide us the power, the resources, and doing it in a stewardship form, and we've lost out on some of those. I hope we'll catch up here soon, and that's why I said with Palisades being redeveloped and put back online, and SMRs, 2 SMRs being put in place. I hope you can get it sooner than 2030, okay? Because we want to start bringing some of those people into the state. That's exciting. The nuclear power plant closed in 2022, and a recent study from the University of Michigan found that its premature closure, and I like the fact that they use that term, the premature closure resulted in an adverse economic impact on the region of more than $250 million annually. That's from 2022 to the present. That has an impact in the space that we're concerned with for development, for innovation, and all of the rest. In Michigan, a bipartisan group of congressional leaders came together to request the funding necessary to reopen the plant, and the Trump administration continues to pave the way for the plant's awaited restart. The impact that it will have, as I look at it from my perspective, bringing back over 800 megawatts of clean, secure, non-greenhouse gas issues and energy to the state. It's enough power to power 800,000 households in Michigan and southern or northern Indiana. That's significant. It's permanent, high-quality jobs that'll be there, 600 jobs, 1,000 specialty contractor roles that are necessary for ongoing restart activities and for future refueling. Simply put, the restart of this plant sends a clear signal that the U.S. is reclaiming its leadership role in nuclear innovation and reinvestment at a critical time. I would also state that with the 2 power plants, nuclear plants in my district, along with coal and natural gas, wind and solar, the reigniting of the Palisades plant has also brought about an optimism in the Cook facility, which is in my district, just south of Palisades plant. It's also brought about an optimistic reigniting in the Fermi plant over on Lake Erie in my district. All of the above who were extremely pessimistic just last year about investing what it would take to get the licenses and move forward in expanding opportunities and operations and extending their life. All of this movement in this direction is a great incentive for us in the future. If the rest of the U.S. follows Michigan's lead, reinvest in nuclear power as part of an all-of-the-above energy strategy, and prioritize innovation, our domestic economy will benefit from better-paying jobs and increased global competitiveness. I mean, hearing today the agreement in Great Britain of multi-billion dollars now going to be invested in nuclear power. I'd call for applause. I know it's not for me. I know it's for the announcement. That's huge. Or huge, as you would say it. That's a big deal. With Great Britain doing that, what impact will that now have on Germany and other places to say, we're going to fall behind? They already have. So it's exciting to think that what CRESS and affiliated entities have done in bringing our agenda in our way, in a common sense approach, but standing shoulder to shoulder with people that care about the earth, care about climate, but care about human beings having all that they can possibly have and enjoy with the resources we have and using them appropriately. And then through innovation, we can succeed. That's exciting. if we continue to do that, the threat of communist China leadership will be pushed back to a great extent. And any other malign influence that could take away opportunities for their own citizens, let alone the rest of the world, will be increasingly diminished. Furthermore, we must unleash domestic energy production. The U.S. produces energy that's safer, cleaner, and more efficient than any other country. We must secure American energy dominance in the future. Since the development of fracking in 2007 to 2021, power sector emissions have declined 33%. Unleashing energy production and exporting LNG to our allies is key to lowering costs, strengthening our geopolitical power, and further lowering emissions worldwide. Finally, if we are to power the rest of the world as well as ourselves in the next several decades, we must also streamline our permitting process, as I mentioned. And I think we can do that. The current bureaucratic maze of permitting is expensive, it's inefficient, it's dangerous to our futures, it threatens our ability to develop critical infrastructure, but also jeopardizes our national security. And I'm delighted to say that on a number of committees dealing with these issues, permitting is a bipartisan issue, a growing bipartisan issue, where both sides are talking about the need to restructure in such a way that the permit regulatory process isn't holding us back. We must avoid costly, inefficient, and duplicative reviews to ensure that projects can be built in a reasonable and timely manner, and ensure that we don't cede our leadership in global AI and energy to China. As we continue our work in Washington, we must remain laser-focused on strengthening the energy capacity of our country by promoting an all-of-the-above energy approach and on unleashing American energy production and pursuing that permitting reform that's necessary. Also, in my space, we've got to find means by which we can develop the necessary workforce. And that's where passing Workforce Pell for the first time in the Working Families Tax Cut Bill, Reconciliation Bill, was a huge start, and it is just a start. But the fact of the matter, there are people that can come straight from high school with values in their own person and an attitude and an aptitude for entering in the field of energy and energy production and maintenance and all the rest that we need to capture. And that's part and parcel with education, with reinforming parents what their students can achieve, and the best way to do that. So we'll continue it. I greatly appreciate all of your involvement in this wonderful process, and want to be along with you for the ride to success, both now and in the future. Thank you.